Because this whole, the royal family thing, like, what if one of the kids are batshit crazy and evil, like WAPOL? Like, what if there's a good king and then the next one is born and then he's a dick face, crazy evil guy? But then you have a democracy where the masses choose their leader, but then the masses are generally easy to brainwash. And then they choose someone that doesn't really have their best interest at heart, that doesn't really have the qualifications to lead, that isn't... And then that's fucked. But I know that that's not how democracy also works. Like, it's not just one person that you choose and that then leads you. It's also, like, there's different... Like, it's not like making one person the president gives him all the power. Like, there's still other laws in place, and... Oh, it's so crazy. It's so fucking crazy. Like, episode 80, A Doctorless Island. Adventures in the country without a name. In the country without a name. In a country without a name. Would have sounded slightly better, but that's just from my perspective. Okay, let's start with the notes. At the start of this episode, Vivi said the following to Luffy, although the wording may be wrong, so I'm going to see if I can find any alternative translations. So in the Kaizoku fan subs, the translation was, "You are a failure as a captain, Luffy. Acting rashly all the time solves nothing." On Crunchyroll, the subtitles were, "You're not fit to be a captain, Luffy. Not fit to be captain, Luffy. Not everything can be fixed by acting recklessly." So I thought these two translations aren't that different. I decided to check the manga because something about it just felt off to me. And this was one of the manga translations that I found. You still don't understand the way of being a good captain, Luffy. If you do something right now, everything will get worse. If you fight them, what will happen to Nami? Think about it. And then there's also another one here that someone sent to me on Discord. I'm sorry, I forgot who it was now. Shout out to you. You're failing to carry out your duties as a ship captain. Recklessly fighting isn't always going to solve everything. If you were to start a fight right now, what would become of Nami? These two manga translations feels like the proper way of saying it. It makes so much more sense for Vivi's character. I don't understand why they had to go and change it in the anime. Someone on Discord, my Patreon exclusive Discord, made a new server. If anyone knew about the drama from the other day, I made a smaller Discord just so that I can manage it by myself without having to rely on anyone else to help me. It's just better that way. But anyway, someone on Discord did say that they don't really see there's a big difference between the anime translation versus the manga translation. But for me, as someone who really loves languages, especially English, and the implication of our words and how short things, like even with a title, to me, adventure in the country without a name, adventure in a country without a name, like even the compared to an makes, to me, gives a different kind of feel to the title. So yeah, that kind of, even though someone said like it didn't matter to them, for me it was a big difference, especially when I considered, what kind of character Vivi was. Like, this didn't make any sense to me. Like, it didn't sound like something Vivi would say, whereas this or this, even though these two translations are also slightly different, they feel more like something Vivi as a character would say. I don't understand why they had to go and change it in the anime. In the anime version, she's calling him a failure as a captain. In the manga, she's acknowledging that he still has a lot to learn as a captain. In my opinion, that makes a huge difference. Of course, Luffy has a lot to learn. They only just started this adventure. It's normal that he'd make mistakes or rash decisions and will grow to be a better captain as the story continues. That much would be obvious to someone like Vivi, who has been raised to be a leader all her life. Raised to be a leader. I don't think she'd ever outright call someone a failure in such an indefinite manner. So this is just another translation. Dalton said later, "This country does not have a name yet. I wonder if by the end of this arc, they will have decided upon a name, and it would be nice if they did." I'm assuming that they will. It would be good for the story. I really liked the scene where they walked past the hiking bear and bowed to him in the mountain climbing manner. It was cute and it reminded me of the way that people generally greet each other here in South Africa while jogging or exercising, jogging or walking for exercise. It's just a quick nod towards the person and a smile, like just on your way, jogging. It's just like kind of nice thing to do. I was surprised when I saw Zoro was going to swim in the ice cold water, but then I remembered that I've seen a documentary or something about people swimming in ice cold lakes or oceans, like group swimming, like naked. And it actually has a lot of benefits. It boosts your immune system, boosts your endorphins, boosts your circulation in your body, boosts your libido, burns more calories, and reduces stress. Okay, so looks like the townspeople were planning on having an election 2 days from Luffy and the crew's arrival. It seems like Dalton is in the running, but he believes that they shouldn't vote for him because he's a man of many sins. He also said later, I think it was in episode 81, that he and WAPOL are the same. I do refer to it again later in the notes. Does he blame himself for not stopping WAPOL sooner or standing in the way of how he treated his people? I'm not sure yet, but these are my first guesses. The specific phrase that he said in episode 81 at the end of it was, "You and I are the same." Like they did the same thing wrong. I don't know. This is kind of... And then he turned into a bull. But anyway, Dalton also seems to recognize Vivi. I'm assuming she accompanied her father at one or the other king's meeting, mentioned in episode 81, I think. And Dalton accompanied the previous king, so that's where he might have seen her. I wonder if this king's meeting, correction, it's called the Council of Kings, is something like the United Nations. And then I just googled the meaning of the United Nations to make sure that I understood what it actually was before wondering if it's the same thing. It's an intergovernmental organization tasked with maintaining international peace and security, developing friendly relations among nations, achieving international cooperation, and being a center for harmonizing the actions of nations. Okay, so to me it sounds like this Council of Kings, maybe it's like inside the Grand Line, all the different king councils, island kings, I don't know, maybe they'll come together to foster, cooperation and harmony and achieving friendly relations, because relationships amongst different countries and places are very important, because you can't, like, we buy our coffee from, I don't know, Brazil, and like we can commerce, economy is all healthy for growth of like some countries invent something and then we can benefit from it, and we invent something and they can benefit from it. They make certain kinds of foods and we make certain kinds of foods. Like that kind of stuff is very important. It seems like they never figured out what caused the illness for Nami because of this screenshot, but we don't know what's causing her sickness or how to treat it. It seems like it was that bug bite, but maybe they showed us that just to throw us off. I wonder if the cause of the illness will influence the story at all further. So what I'm saying here is I'm just wondering, like, we saw that it might have been a bug bite because at the end of the arc, the last arc, we saw Nami like scratching a bug bite, and we're assuming that that's what caused her illness because right after that she started getting ill. Like, why would they show that if either it's throwing us off, or, which I doubt, or it's just to show us like that's how she got sick. I'm just wondering if the cause of the illness is going to affect the story further, or is it just important, like, okay, she's sick and that's how they got to this island and that's what's gonna, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, was the important part just getting sick for the story, getting sick and being on this island, or is the cause of the illness, that bug thing that bit her, would it have any other implication on the story? Which I doubt, unless it's some kind of spider bug that gives her some kind of magic powers, which, like, I'm doubting. So, anyway, don't answer that, obviously. I'll see as this arc progresses, when Dr. Kureha eventually sees Nami and cures her. I'm pretty sure she'll reference what caused the illness and if it matters at all. Okay. Dr. Kureha is said to be 140 years old. Apparently she lived to be this old because she likes to eat umeboshi, extremely sour plums said to lengthen lifespan. Dalton says she comes down from the castle whenever she wants and treats the sick, then takes what she wants from the people. Luffy mentions that she sounds like a pirate. Lol. I wonder if she only came to this country after WAPOL had left, since she's living in this castle, in his castle I mean. So I'm assuming that before that, she definitely didn't live in his castle, but was she still on the island? Did she only come out of hiding after he left and they needed a doctor? I don't know. But another interesting fact is like, okay, she's 140-ish, 139 I mean, and she's considered like really old. Like, how the fuck does she live that long? So that to me says, because I mentioned before, like I'm wondering what the average lifespan of a character, a person in this world is, and it seems that 140 is like crazy old. So I'm assuming the average lifespan of a character, if they don't die from pirating. That was a weird noise / feeling. It felt like something fell in my head. Like, you know how when your ears go closed, it felt like just a... Okay, that was so weird. I hope no one jumped over the wall. Oh my god. No, we have an alarm. I would hear if they triggered the alarm. It's fine. What was I saying? I'm assuming then that the average lifespan is about 100 if someone, doesn't die of any weird cause or something. Maybe like 90 to 100. That's my current assumption. While they were deciding whether or not to take Nami to Dr. Kureha, and whenever Nami was talking, especially, the camera would transition to the fire often. I wonder if this was a visual affirmation of Nami's condition. She has a very high fever because it kept like fire, fire, fire. According to Dalton, their country was ravaged by a pirate crew with only 5 members. The captain was called Blackbeard. WAPOL ran away once he saw how strong the crew was and took all the doctors, the Ishi-20, with him, I assume. I don't know where they are currently, but I'm assuming he took them, and I'm assuming he has them kind of against their will. Like, what happened to the other doctors? He exiled them, the rest of them. This is my face. I thought this was hilarious when I found out that WAPOL used to be their king. I wonder who was the person that told Luffy people in snow countries never sleep. I said that in the video, I said that I feel like that's going to be important later, but I didn't mean important for the story. I just meant that I think we'll find out at some point who it was that told Luffy this. Like, who was it that would tell Luffy something like that? Maybe it was Shanks or someone else from Luffy's past. It would be interesting if this was referred back to later in the story. Kind of like how Usopp's lies came up again, but coming true. Like, it came up again, it referred back to his lies, but in a way that we had to figure it out, like we had to make the connection. So I'm hoping that we'll meet the person one day that told that to Luffy, and we'll pick up on the link because Luffy mentioned it before, So far this arc has been very revealing with regards to Vivi's character. I'm loving her even more. She seems like a great leader that cares a lot about her people and with a heavy sense of responsibility. It was clear before, but this episode and her reaction here just really emphasizes that fact. Episode 81, Are You Happy? The Doctor Who is Called a Witch. I am not going to lie, that rabbit fight in the beginning had me seriously confused. It wasn't like in a bad way, it just felt really random. Way more random than WAPOL's introduction in episode 79. Because I remember someone saying like his introduction was like really weird and random. It was like, they're there, they're raiding you, they're gone. And they continue with the story. Like, that was random, but this rabbit fight felt really random to me. Luffy's teasing face though instantly cheers me up when I look at it. I think this is really cute. I'm kind of trying to collect all these kinds of expressions and pictures because when I do the cosplay, it would be fun to try and reenact some of them. Here's another screenshot. We thought we might meet one on this island willing to be our nakama, but that was Usopp saying that. I actually didn't realize they weren't just looking for a doctor to help Nami. They were also hoping that said doctor would join them / become part of the crew. While editing, I realized based on Usopp's words, they were also looking for a doctor to join them from this island. They have talked about needing a doctor before though, so in a way it was pretty obvious that they wouldn't just be looking for a doctor to help Nami. If that doctor was willing to join them, obviously that would be a perfect long-term solution. Someone, I don't remember the name, on Patreon commented and said, "Let's hope they find a doctor, winky face," which is clearly a hint, although the comment was edited thereafter. The winky face was taken away, but sadly I saw it before. So I'm assuming they do find a doctor by the end of this arc. I could be wrong though, but I don't think that I am, because if someone says, "Let's hope they find a doctor soon," I think maybe the original comment said, I don't remember, but I think, because why else? The thing is, like, I go through my emails, and if I see something is spoilery, then I quickly delete it or whatever, but I'm pretty sure it says, "Let's hope they find a doctor to join their crew," with a winky face, because I know the comment was edited afterwards, so I don't remember what it originally said, but I remember feeling like, oh, so they do find someone to... So anyway, I think all of this was kind of a hint. So I'm assuming they do find a doctor by the end of this arc to join them, you know, on the boat. I could be wrong though, but considering the fact that I've seen that chopper creature before, although I'm pretty sure in a different form, I don't think he was ever a reindeer. Like, I remember the pink hat, I remember the antlers, but I don't remember a reindeer, and I'm pretty sure I've heard the name Chopper before. It's kind of obvious that, you know, I would have seen some characters, like, I would know what some characters look like, you know. It's not like the whole internet is filled with One Piece, and that's wonderful, that's great. Navigating through the spoilers as a new One Piece viewers is part of the journey. Like, there's no way you could avoid that online. I obviously will get frustrated if people on my channel, knowing on what episode I am, like, obviously then that's rude to post something from a future episode, like that is spoilering. But if people online are sharing, you know, things from episode 400, that's not their fault. That's like that's normal. That's the internet. They've seen it, so they can't cater to me because it's not my internet. Like, it's my channel. Like, if you're on a video where I'm reacting to what episode 81 of One Piece, don't comment something from episode 180. You know what I'm saying, or hint at something. But anyway. So I've seen characters before here and there, but I'll always mention if I've seen them, what I've seen of them. If I remember something, you guys know, I'll always tell you, like I've done in the past. I'll tell you if I've been spoiled. But with this chopper creature thing with the pink hat, I think I've seen him before. And since he's with Dr. Kureha, I'm assuming because I don't see her joining them. But having a little mascot creature with you, it's normal for shonen anime to do that, right? Fairy Tail has it. I can't think of another example now, but Bleach has Kon, Fairy Tail has Happy. I wonder if that's a reference to her saying, "Are you happy? Are you happy?" I don't know. Anyway, what I was trying to say is, since through Usopp's words, I realized they're looking for a doctor to join the crew on this island, plus, let's hope they find a doctor for the crew hint, plus, I recognize the pink hat of the reindeer character, my guess is that that creature joins the crew and is somehow also good with medicine, since it lives with Dr. Kureha at the moment. Maybe Dr. Kureha morphs into it. No, that's way too far-fetched. I hope that's not the case. That would be weird if a granny joins them and somehow morphs into that reindeer and becomes a different kind of... I don't know, would be weird. Yeah, this is my face. My first reaction of Dr. Kureha. She reminds me of Django. Even I laugh at my reactions sometimes, guys. I don't know if that's normal or not. I don't really understand how much she charged to cure that kid and whether it was fair or not, to be honest. I know that even in real life, medical costs can be a lot. So at this point, like I said, it's kind of difficult to judge her character, like whether she's a good person or not. She did help though, and it did look like she had a good way of dealing with the kid. Better than his dad, at least. She may be eccentric, but with regards to her personality, she seems nice enough. You can tell a lot about a person when you see how they deal with children. I just did a quick Google search, so I don't know how accurate this is, but apparently treating cancer can cost up to $100,000 per year. I'm not saying the kid had cancer, obviously. I'm just saying, even if whatever she cured cost half of that amount, I guess half of his assets in such a small town isn't that big of a price to pay for his child's life, since whatever illness he had would have killed him, according to Dr. Kureha. This happy, don't forget it. I don't know why, but I feel like I really like this quote. She looked back at him and she told him, this happy, don't forget it. Like, I don't know, this feeling. I don't know. I like it. I totally understand now why someone said Karu is unironically one of their favorite characters. I loved that scene where Karu thought Zoro was drowning and jumped in to save him. It was so cute. Vivi to Dalton about WAPOL's Issue 20 law. That's not government, it's a crime. I might have mentioned this before, but this arc so far is very revealing in terms of Vivi's character as a leader. So far, an important theme for these last 2 episodes has been what it means to be a leader on a small and a large scale. Like Luffy being a leader for his crew and WAPOL being a leader of his country. What makes a good leader? What makes a bad leader? It's dealt with this topic heavily since Vivi told Luffy that he's not carrying out his duties as a captain properly, and Luffy acknowledged his responsibility and lowered his head to save his friend. Like that lowering of his head onto his face was flat on the deck. Like it has a lot of meaning, especially when you consider bowing in Japanese and the history behind it, or the depth of the meaning behind it. Here are a few unanswered questions that I have after this episode. Please don't answer them. The anime will do that for me. Where are the Issue 20 now? I'm assuming they're with WAPOL and he's kind of keeping them captive. Is WAPOL the only member of his family left since his dad was the previous king and he died? I'm just wondering, does he have any brothers or sisters? Is his mother also dead? And the reason I'm thinking that is like, is there anyone to challenge his crown? Possibly, hopefully, maybe. Or are they going to flip the whole system and become a democracy? We don't know. It seems like that's the plan though. 3, why can Dalton turn into a bull? And 4, why did Dalton say he and WAPOL are guilty of the same crime? I talked about this a little at the end of the episode and in these notes, but one of the most prominent themes that I've noticed from this arc is leadership and government. I think, or I hope, that this will be addressed more throughout this arc, and maybe even in the rest of the anime. Come to think of it, it's been addressed in a way before, at least partly, by the Marines and how they choose to run things and even the corruption that goes on within the Marines themselves. Like within the, But yeah, leadership and what it means to govern others and the kind of person that it takes to do that is a topic that's very important to think about and be conscious of in the real world. So I'm happy that the anime deals with subjects like this and subconsciously encourages us to deepen our understanding of it and the implications of who we choose to lead us. Like it's just, what I'm saying is, it's important to think about these things. Like most of us, for a big part of our lives, aren't self-aware. We don't question things. We don't think about what we're doing and what it means to be something and to have something, like a leader. And I like that this anime, through dealing with these topics, subconsciously is making us think about like self-reflection, being aware of our surroundings and ourselves. And like not just knowing the definition of a word, but actually knowing what it means, because like leader can mean so many different things to different people, and we should know what it means to us and what makes a good leader. Does that make sense? Okay, so here's a few comments from patrons if you want to take a look at the notes. One is from Gerard Lelouch, Leorion, and Jeff23. So if you want to read through them, you can even just pause. I think you should be able to read them. Boop, right here. So thank you guys so much for watching my reaction highlights. Thank you to my patrons for sharing your thoughts with me afterwards, and giving me something to think about as well. I really enjoyed these 2 episodes. I'll do the next video will be another 2 episode reaction, and then the video after that will be a 3 episode reaction. That order was suggested to me by Miki. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.